I'm Smokin Ed Currie. I'm a professional pepper breeder and hot sauce maker by trade, and I'm here to rank my favorite peppers from mild to wild. I'm gonna be ranking these peppers on two things today: flavor complexity and heat. I'm ready to get into some peppers. Jalapeno. Jalapenos are either green or red. Red jalapenos are the ripe version of this fruit. There is no way to tell from the skin whether a jalapeno is hot or not. Inside, it's got a very, very thick flesh on it. This red part is the flesh. And then the pith is this white part. A lot of people take the pith and the seed out, but seeds have no heat. They just give texture to your sauces. This pith is really where the heat is. These are called ribs. You can see the main part of the pith, and then there's a little cavity underneath. These ribs have some of the best flavor that's in a pepper. It's a very flavorful pepper. You get a sugar sweetness up front when you bite into it, and then you get that floral taste towards the end of it. We use it a lot when we want some sauce to be on the sweeter side. I would say that this pepper is in the high 5,000s, maybe even 6,000 to 7,000 on Scoville heat units. This jalapeno is right up here. Out of the peppers that I've brought, this one is the most flavorful with the mildest heat. Orange scorpion. I love the color and the texture of this pepper. It has all these ridges and bumps in it. That means that there's more area for the pith inside to grow. Scorpion peppers are very thin-walled. The flesh is very thin, the pith is very thin, but they pack a lot of heat. This orange one is really vibrant to me. You can smell it immediately. It's a very pungent pepper. That pith wall that I was talking about, it's really pronounced, but there's deep, deep pockets. And if you look in these pockets, that yellow stuff is capsaicin. That's really, really, really hot. That is a chemical compound that our brain perceives as heat. Capsaicin is kind of akin to a poison to us. So the reaction is telling us, hey, don't eat this. It's the plant's way of protecting itself. It releases huge amounts of endorphin and dopamine into your system. So you actually get kind of a rush while you're eating food with it. That produces a lot of physiological effects that's gonna happen to everybody. The hotter the pepper gets, usually the less the seed production in it. Just a little teeny taste. And you can see those oils on my fingers.
You want gloves?
No. Gloves are for you guys, not for me. When I taste this pepper, the heat comes on almost immediately. Scorpions are more on the bitter side, but they have that floral note to them that really can bring out other flavors when you mix it in a hot sauce. Scorpions go between, say, 700,000 Scoville heat units, and up to the highest one we've ever seen measured is 1.4 million Scoville heat units. I'm placing this pepper on the spicy side. It's one of the hotter peppers there is. Carolina Reaper. This is the granddaddy of all the peppers. This is Smokin Ed's Carolina Reaper, the hottest pepper in the world. The Guinness World Record right now at a low average of 1.642 million Scoville heat units. Compared to the jalapeno we started with, it's like roller skates to the space shuttle. What motivated me to develop this breed was I was looking to raise a certain capsaicinoid in peppers that I truly believe can cause a cancer cell to start an autoimmune sequence. Also, I wanted it to be sweeter with simple sugars. By accident, I was given the hottest pepper in the world. It's a very scary looking pepper. It's full of ridges and bumps and spikes, and it's got a little tail on it, and it just looks mean. That's a good indicator that this is gonna be a seriously hot pepper. When we open this one up, you'll notice the pith is really high up on the pepper. It's got a very high seed pocket. The ribs are really, really wide. Again, more capsaicin producing material. It smells so floral, it's unbelievable. The sweetness You can almost taste it in your tongue. But I know this pepper is gonna be hot. So I'm just gonna take a little slice. I don't recommend anybody eat more than that much. If you don't chew it, it's gonna get stuck in your throat or it's gonna give you a bellyache. You must chew the pepper up when you're eating it straight. You get this amazing sugar sensation, and then that floral tone blossoms, and all of a sudden, the heat just goes bam, punches you right in the face. I'm having trouble talking because the saliva has just gone in my mouth. I'm starting to cry, okay, just from a little bit of pepper. I can feel my skin changing color. The hair is going up on my arms. All this is happening because I like it, okay? At the risk of being the proud papa of this pepper, I'm still going to put it all the way up here. Flavor is amazing. The heat is stupid. Peach Ghost. When people want to get into more intense peppers, I always recommend the ghost pepper to start with. This happens to be a peach Bhutlah. The skin is really shiny and it's pretty smooth. This pepper has a lot of crinkles in it. Because it's long, there is a lot of space for that capsaicin-producing tissue to grow. This has kind of a cinnamon note or a vanilla note when you cut it open. There's a higher seed pocket on this pepper, and the ribs are really, really thin. Look at that oil. Even though it's got all this pith in it, if you look inside, there's very, very few seeds. It has more of a bitter tone to it. It tastes like a cinnamon or a vanilla flavor. Earthy tones to it. This is more like, okay, I'm gonna make stew with this. This one has very little heat to it, but for the novice or for the average person, they're gonna think they're eating something very, very hot. Being one of my favorite peppers, I'm gonna put this on the more flavorful side, but I don't really think it's that spicy. I gave this best all-around pepper, but barely hot to me. Chocolate Bhutlah. This is a pepper that more people should know about. The flavor is intense. It is an amazing pepper to cook with, and it is an amazing pepper in sauce. Because it was bred with the chocolate scorpion, you should always expect this chocolate color. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies and a lot of bumps on this pepper. It actually has the little spikes on it that are indices of a lot of capsaicin production. And then usually they have this tri-lobe shape. So you get these two lobes up here and this lobe down here. And it kind of gives it the appearance of a face. When I'm going through the field, I like picking them out and I'll put one on the dashboard and call it Charlie or something for the day before I eat it. We're gonna name this one Tommy. This is extremely thin-skinned. But if you look inside, the pith is almost red. It's got very dark tones to it. And the oils pool really quickly on the inside. The air is bringing that capsaicin out through the skin. I got a high seed pocket like some of the other super hots, but the ribs don't have seeds on them. On these peppers, the seed pockets are the ones that intrigue me, because that lets me know, is it gonna be viable and am I gonna be able to use it again next year? Most of the chocolate peppers have huge amounts of tannin in them. The heavy tannins in this give it a unique flavor that I've not found in any of the other chocolate peppers. I don't taste the heat right away. What I get is that kind of citrusy floral flavor. It spreads throughout the mouth, and because the tannins have activated on the sides of my tongue and like in the cheeks and in my gums, but then that heat builds. And it's one of those burns that starts in your throat and works its way up, not the opposite way. So once that burn starts, it's very, very hard to talk. This is the only pepper so far that has made me break a sweat. I think these are amazing peppers to cook with. This is one of the spicier peppers. I'm gonna place it right about here. And I chose that unique flavor because of the tannin experience that's happening. And the heat is great. I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner, but if you like hot stuff in your food, this is one to use. Red Scotch Bonnet. I love the Scotch Bonnet. I just didn't think it was hot enough. So I might have played around a little bit with it in the Reaper. These peppers are beautiful. They look really smooth and classic, almost like a habanero. But if you get up close, you can see little teeny bumps. The red ones are the best all around heat and flavor, in my opinion. As you get lighter in colors, those have more fruity tones to them and less heat. All varieties of true Scotch bonnets are very, very hard. It's almost like it's a rock pepper, okay? When you squeeze them, they don't give. The skin is very tough, and they've got a lot of seeds in them. This pepper, because I bred it with the Carolina Reaper, has a lot more ridges in it than a normal Scotch bonnet. So there's a lot more area for capsaicinoid production. When you cut it open, you see the difference. There's not really that many seeds inside, and they're pretty much combined to the upper pith. The skin texture is not the same. This one that's been bred with the Reaper has a very thin skin as compared to this one that's with the Scotch Bonnet, which is very thick. I'm gonna taste both of these because I like them. I could eat this all day long. This is a pepper that just tastes delicious, and it augments everything you put it on. There's no real heat to it for me. For the normal person, they'd say, oh, that's a little bit warm. But for me, it's just like candy. This one that's been crossed with the Reaper, I'm not gonna eat such a big piece of because it's going to have that fruity sweetness up front, and then that heat's just gonna build on right away. That's the part I like. As far as hot peppers go, they're a medium pepper that anybody can enjoy. This is one of my favorite peppers to use. The flavor is unbelievable. I don't think it's very hot at all. Red habanero. Habaneros are known for their smooth skin. They're also known for their unique shapes. If you go to the habanero bin at your local grocery store, it's hard to find two that are exactly the same. Habaneros don't really have good heat. And the skin itself is a little bit thicker than most of the hotter peppers that are out there. They tend to look waxy. That's the natural sheen of the pepper. It's very thin-walled, but the color on the inside is more like the skin on the outside. There's not a lot of that capsaicinoid producing tissue on this pepper. The seed pocket is pretty high and the ribs are pretty thin. You don't get sweetness, you don't get like an earth tone, you get like the tones you get out of honey. You can tell the different flowers that are grown that the honey's come from. Right now I'm starting to experience that heat, say right about here in my throat, and it's working its way up my tongue. The floral taste too is very overpowering. I just don't like that experience. I like it to pair with something, not have to be melded with something. Even though it's the most widely used pepper, I believe that it is a very overrated pepper. And if you're really looking for a unique experience, there's plenty of other spectrums to go to. The heat level on these peppers is not there. And the flavor is really bland. And for me, it's blah, blah, blah. Cayenne. I've seen more varieties that are called Cayenne than any other variety of pepper. They pair well with just about everything out there, from fish to fowl to meat to cheese. We've actually made ice cream with cayennes. This variety is one that we've bred out that is extremely tasty, and it grows very large. These are a very thick flesh cayenne. When we grew this pepper out, one of the unique qualities I loved about it was that it turned from a really dark green all the way to a really vibrant red. But not all the green left when it was totally ripe. We're just gonna go down into the small part and again into the big part. Very little seeds. You're gonna get about 100 seeds as compared to a normal cayenne. It tastes like Mother Earth to me, and what I want to do is get something else to put on it, like a goat cheese and maybe some rosemary or sage or something. This is my favorite pepper. They've got no heat at all. And by no heat, I'm saying, maybe 10,000 to 20,000 Scoville heat units. I would rank it Best all-around pepper, as far as I'm concerned, for the everyday cook. Fresno, it is a bittersweet pepper. It has that kind of sweetness that the jalapeno flesh has, but right afterwards comes a very bitter flavor. They have a very unique quality to them. When you're cooking with them, it takes a lot to bring out the flavor. You can't just mix it up and put it in a sauce and get that unique Fresno flavor. You have to cook slowly. And that brings the flavonoids that are really there, that bitter side, out to the prominence so that you get a bitter experience first and then the sweet. You're gonna see that just like the jalapeno, it's a very thick flesh pepper. It's got a lot of seeds in it and a very high pith as opposed to the long pith that the jalapeno had. It smells like medicine. It really does. I'm trying to fool you into eating me, but I'm not gonna taste good once you eat me. I don't use Fresnos raw. I think they're excellent as far as sauces go. On the fourth or fifth chew, you get this burst of sweetness. But what it is bitter beforehand and then bitter afterwards to me. We've never had them over 3,000 Scoville when we tested them. They're very mild pepper. Works really well in hot sauce and works really well in cooking. It's not a very tasty pepper at all. And it has no heat. So I'm going to place it in the bottom quadrant. To me, it tastes like Angostura bitters. It's got that little bit of sweetness, but unless you're mixing it with something, it's not worth having. Mustard Apocalypse. I chose this Mustard Apocalypse that we've bred out. This Apocalypse, to me, is a much sweeter pepper than its parent, the Moruga Scorpion. Now you can see this classic Moruga shape at the top. It's got a lot of bumps in it. It's just a thick-walled pepper at the very top of the pepper. But as you get down, it gets a lot thinner and a lot thinner, and it has more give to it. The tail, to me, is the fruitiest part of the pepper. This one I love because it's really dynamic. Fruity, floral, bitter, okay? You get all three of those tones to it. On the high side, you have that thick seed wall, and the skin's a little bit thicker on the top. And then as you move down, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. It has a lot of pith to it. And the ribs are a little bit thicker than your normal super hot. I think that's why it has such a good heat. There's not as much oil production in these as there has been in other peppers, but there is a lot of pith that's gonna be holding that capsaicin. If you're gonna eat it fresh, it all depends on what you want to eat. If you cut it down at the bottom, you're gonna get that fruity tone that I was talking about. If you get this middle section, that's gonna be more of the floral that comes from, the Moruga scorpion or any of the other scorpions. And up at the top here, where the pith is so thick, it's gonna be bitter. I'm going really thin on the top because I know this is gonna be bitter and smoking hot. My favorite thing to do with this pepper is to use it in salsas, but I also use it in condiments. This pepper is extremely good for hot sauce because you get a great heat without having that overtone or overpowering heat. It's a slow burn. It's not that immediate upfront slap in the face. For those who are ready to go past the ghost pepper, this is your next go-to pepper. I think this is a lot more tasty than the Bhutlah, but it doesn't have that heat that I love going for. I gave it a 3-in-1 above the Bhutlah because it has those three unique flavor profiles just in one pepper. There you have it. These are some of my favorite peppers to grow and some of my favorite peppers to cook with. Start on the low end, work your way up. Most of all, it should be something that you enjoy, not something that destroys you.